Hello everyone and welcome to African Food Stories. This podcast is produced by the African Food Fellowship to tell stories about African food systems leaders. This season, our focus is on food systems actions. What are they? How do you do them? And why do they matter? In this episode, we caught up with Rwanda Fellow Richard Makuza during the Rwanda Transformed Food Festival. Richard, whose work includes fighting food insecurity and poverty in vulnerable communities, shares with us his important work on climate-smart agriculture. Have a listen.
Thank you for the opportunity. The food systems action is scaling up the adoption of climate-smart agriculture practices or technologies. So what is coming to solve is, as we all know, we have a big challenge of climate change. So the temperature patterns have changed, season variation, rain is not coming as we expected, and you can no longer predict things very well. And that's why we are seeing droughts, we are seeing floods. And because our agro-food system, especially production, is still heavily dependent on rain-fed agriculture, it is really imperative to think of how we accelerate the adoption of some of the technologies that can help farmers adapt to the changes and still increase the productivity, because we still need to have food on the table. So climate smart agriculture practices are a solution to the challenge we have. So that's the main challenge that we are solving, and there are many technologies. There is conservation agriculture, is irrigation, be it large and small scale irrigation. There is technologies that help like marshland reclamation, landscape management. There are a number of technologies that can be customized to the smallholder farmers' capacity. Yeah. So in the sense of the African Food Fellowship, I have a team of fellows that come from different institutions. But last year, 2023, a number of institutions came up with an idea to start a coalition we called Regenerative and Conservation Agriculture Coalition. And the objective was to map out different players, be it private sector, academia, development partners, NGOs, of course, to support the government in doing this. We decided to come together so that we harmonize. We find out what is in the space, what is already being promoted in Rwanda, and how can we speak with the same voice? How can we raise money together? How can we harmonize extension messages? How can we do research, but after finding out what information is there that is properly documented, what are the gaps, to avoid duplication. So we are able to bring together around 14 organizations in May last year. Now the coalition has grown to close to 25 institutions, and it actually enabled us to contribute significantly to the PSTA 5, to have this clearly captured in the policy. And we are really celebrating and happy that the government has captured these practices very well with clear targets. Now what we are doing is we are mobilizing ourselves to proactively prepare to support the government in implementation and scaling up these technologies. So the number, I won't name every organization, but it's chaired and co-chaired by WFP and SNV, and it has 3 thematic working groups: the extension working group, the research working group, and the advocacy. So research is led by One Acre Fund, advocacy by Mennonite Central Committee, extension by Peace and Development Network. So there are a number, and others are coming on board, so that we work together collaboratively and collectively to support the government's initiatives to scale up the adoption of these technologies as fast as we can, because the climate is changing very fast. So it requires working together quickly to create climate resilience for farmers. We've got quite good support. So one is this platform to come together, share ideas, fine-tune what we are thinking. Let me give you an example of today's platform. So many people came on board, government, private, and we are able to find out what are the main barriers they are finding it difficult to adopt these technologies. So we clearly gathered good information on what are the main barriers, and even the Director General of RAB gave us some entry points of making the awareness, making this very clear to avoid confusion, and even mobilize funding to support these initiatives, and also engaging farmers to really understand what are the pressing issues from their side. So that was a good platform. But in addition to that, we have a food system action lead that the African Food Fellowship has brought on board, Caroline, to coach and accompany us as we rethink, we restructure what we can do. And and other further connections that the African Food Fellowship is doing. So one, we have already registered some good milestones. When we started this, pushing this strongly last year, we are really looking to having a strategic plan, PSTA 5, that clearly captures this. And for the first time, we have a strategic plan that clearly talks of an agri-food system that is climate resilience. Not only that, it lays out the practices of technologies that are going to be enforced, and also targets. So that is success number one. We have a policy that is going to make it easier for us to push this message, to mobilize funds, to bring different stakeholders on board. Number two is to have buy-in. The way I look at success, to have buy-in from all the different stakeholders to understand that this is very important, this is needed, this is urgent for us to have an agri-food system that is resilient. And I'm looking forward to that, and I can see that picking up. Many people are really coming together, and I'm looking forward to having a platform, and the ministry is talking about this, bringing all these actors together so that we harmonize our efforts. So that we deliver in the coming 5 years. Being a food systems leader to me means embracing the collectiveness. We are used to the leadership where you have your own vision as maybe an institution, and you have a mission that you're driving to, a siloed way of thinking. So the systems leader is, you're looking beyond your own vision and mission. You're embracing other institutions, other stakeholders, and making sure that they feel part of the mission, they feel attracted to the collective objective, which requires patience, which requires skills to make sure that everyone sees the point and the benefit of being part of the collective rather than being in their silos. And everyone understanding that siloed, when we all approach this individually, we will not succeed. We are too small to make significant impacts for these complex issues unless we come together. Together, we are more powerful and we can nudge the system to move in the right direction.
Thanks for listening. Keep it here for more African food stories. Until next time.